Hello fellow devs and welcome to the first part of the Phoesion Glow Basics series. In this video I will demonstrate the basics of creating microservices in C# using Phoesion Glow. In this tutorial we will create a Hello World service using Visual Studio and C#, run test and debug our code from browser and Visual Studio, go over the basics of writing Web API endpoints and adding static files to our service, and finally, create another service that will be part of our distributed application. Okay, let's start. The first step is to download and install the developer tools from the Glow documentation website. This will install the Visual Studio templates and the necessary background services for running and debugging our code. To create our new service, we need to start Visual Studio, create a new project, select C# as a language and Glow as a project type. Then select Firefly service project, so we will use this template, and specify the service and project name. In this case, we will use a Hello World. Build the solution. So now that everything builds, we run the project. So now our service is up and running. We can go to this URL. And see that the service is up and running. Stop the service. And in the modules, delete the sample module, we don't need it. Create a new module. Create a Firefly module. And let's say will be greater. And in this module we will have a simple action, say hello, with a simple hello world message. Now we run the service again. The service is up, and now to hit this endpoint we need to go to our service name, then our module name, and then the action name, and we can hit the endpoint of our new service. Now to change the name of the service here, we can go to our service main and change the attribute of the service name. So now when we run our service, it will be under the new service name path. So when we fix this, now our service is named Hello World, with a module greeter and an action say hello, as is defined by code here. The module name and the action. Now what we created here is an HTTP GET method. To create a post method, we need to create a new method with the action attribute as post, and for example, let's name it submit data. Let's run our service again. Now, to hit this action, we need, let's open Postman. We'll use post method, and we receive the reply. To add some query parameters, let's say to the get method here, we can do binding by, let's say, have an int age and string name. This way, we can bind query parameters to our action. For example, let's go back to the browser and have a so now the action returns the response using the query parameters. To debug this code, we can use breakpoints, and let's hit again. So now we stopped with the debugger in the action. We can examine the input that has been binded automatically by the system and debug our code. To add static files to our service, we can either use the content folder or the www-root folder. These are special folders that hold the static files. For example, let's create here a static file, a text file. And add another one in the www-root. Folder. So we have here our two static files. We rebuild the service, so they are copied to the output. And now to get the files, we use the service name, and then for the www-root file we only need the file name. This is a static file that is in the www-root. For the content file, you need to add the content folder here, and you get the file that also static file that is hosted in the content directory. So the difference is that these files that are on the content need to be prefixed with the content directory, and in the www-root files they don't need any special directory. They are considered in the root of the service. Now that we have the Hello World service up and running, let's create another service. We will create a new project. Select a Firefly service project. And let's name this one game room, for example. Rebuild and run the service. Now the service starts in this service name that we don't want. So first of all, let's change the service name to a more desired and short service name. And let's create a module here. Let's name it lobby, for example. And an action get players. Get players that will return a list of strings. It will be our player usernames. And in this example, let's add 2 players. And run our service. Now let's test our new endpoint. Excellent. And as you can see, the response is basically a JSON with the proper content type. Now, we have those 2 services, 2 microservices in our application, and we can start them together. When we run our application. And now both services are active and are serving requests, each one under its service name. So the get players sends this response, and the Hello World service continues to work in the same space. To summarize, in this video we've set up our dev machine, created 2 microservices with public API endpoints and static files. In the next video we'll learn how to deploy these services to our server, monitor their performance and examine log messages. Thank you for watching.